these ingredients: 1/2 of a pound stewed beef or boneless, 1/4 of a pound soup meat or salt beef, 1/4 of a pound pig's tail, optional 1/2 of a pound kidney beans or canned, drained water, 2 stacks Italian diced, 2 medium onions diced, 1 carrot diced, 3 small tomatoes diced, 8 garlic cloves, 1 green pepper Scotch bonnet or real chili pepper, 1 white pepper Scotch bonnet or real chili pepper, ginger, cut to size of your thumb, 6 pieces of whole close, 2 tablespoons of sea salt or 1 tablespoon if you use the pigtail or salt beef, 1 tablespoon of parsley dried or fresh, 1 tablespoon of basil dried or fresh, 1/2 tablespoon of marjoram dried or fresh, 1/2 tablespoon of rosemary diced, 1/2 teaspoon nutmeg grated, 1 teaspoon of pimento seeds, 2 tablespoons of browning thyme, fresh pieces tied together the size of 2 fingers, or 1 tablespoon of leaves, 1 1/2 tablespoon white vinegar, 1 tablespoon of butter, 1/4 cup coconut oil or olive oil, 1 cup of ketchup, 6 cups of water, 1 cho-cho diced, optional. Instructions: 1. Wash the kidney beans and soak them for 15 minutes or more into water. After that, pressure cooks the soaked beans with 4 cups of fresh waters. Gauge the stove on 4. It will take 20 minutes to pressure cook. Start timing when it starts to whistle. Once it's cooked, 2. Remove the water, cover and put aside until you are ready for it. 2. Stripped, washed and diced all the seasonings, then put together in a bowl. Keep the coconut oil, the browning, ketchup, carrots, tomatoes, butter and half of an onion into a separate bowl. 3. Now put to heat a pressure cooker pot, and add the oil. After 2 minutes with the stove gauged on 8, add the meat, next add all the seasoning, then the browning. Stir in the ingredients. Now use a regular pot lid to cover the pot, allow to simmer for 10 minutes. 4. Next add 6 cups of boiled hot water. Stir in. This time covers the pressure cooker pot with the pressure cooker's lid correctly. Once it starts to whistle, gauge the stove on low flame. Allow to pressure for 20 minutes. 5. After that, once it's cooled, remove the lid, then add the cooked kidney beans or canned. Be sure to drain the water from the can. Now add half of an onion and the tomatoes. 6. Add with it little dumpling called spinners. Use 1 1/2 cup of flour to a pinch of salt and 1/4 cup of water to make dumpling spinners. From the dough, break a small piece off. Put it in your palm. Use your palms and spin the dough to spinner dumplings. Next, cover with a regular lid, then gauge the stove on low flame for 20 minutes. 7. Finally, turn the stove on high flame, then add the ketchup and the butter and cover. 8. Allow to stew for 2 minutes still on high flame. Finish.
Wash 2 cups of red peas. I don't know if you can see, but the water is changing color. Usually these that come in the packs are clean, but it won't hurt to wash it. To 4 cups of water, soak the peas for 30 minutes. Just let it stay in the water for 30 minutes. 1 tablespoon of basil, 1 tablespoon of dry parsley or fresh parsley, 3 tablespoons of sea salt or 2 tablespoons of regular salt, 1 tablespoon of nutmeg, 12 old black peppers, half teaspoon pimento seeds, chocho, scallion or green onion, 1 Scotch bonnet pepper and half green Scotch bonnet pepper. Any pepper can. 2 large diced onions. Strip the green onion, the scallion like this. Seven garlic cloves, 7 crushed garlic cloves, 1 peeled diced chocho, a small piece of ginger about 1/2 inch in length. You just cut it. 1 small diced tomato, clean carrot. Strip that and then strip out here. Clean and dice 2 carrots. 2 small carrots or 1 large carrot. Half stick of butter. 1 tablespoon of thyme, fresh thyme. 1/4 cup of coconut oil, olive oil, any kind of oil. 3 tablespoons of white vinegar. 2 tablespoons of browning. Okay, to make the stew peas you can use soup meat, soup bone. Alright, this is salt beef I'm using. I'm using 1/2 pound of salt beef. I'm going to use half 1/4 pound of regular beef. So you can use pigtail, stew beef, soup meat, any kind of meat. And you just cut them up in small pieces like these. So we're using 1 pound. This is 1/2 pound of salt beef, and we're going to use 1 pound of soup meat. 1/4 pound of beef. Put to eat. Put to eat a pressure pot. A pressure cook pot. For now the flame should be on 8. After 1 minute, add 1/4 cup of oil. After 1 more minute, add beef. Immediately add the seasoning, the chopped onions, scallion, the garlic, and the ginger. Just let this stay for about 3 minutes, 4 minutes the most. Same time add the dry seasoning. Just after you add, just add all the seasoning except for the tomato, the ketchup, and certain other things. You're just going to let it burn like this on high. Add the browning. Add the browning. You know what? Add everything one time. The browning and all the seasoning. And we're going to let this burn for about 3 minutes, 4, 5, 6 minutes. After 10 minutes, after 10 minutes, just like that. Just let it stew like so. 10 minutes. We're gonna now add 8 cups of water. 8 cups of water, and cover this for a little while and let it boil. 8 cups of water. Now with this, after the 12 minutes, we just put this for a boil for 2 minutes. We're gonna cover it with the flame at high for now. So you put on the rubber, make sure it's on. I don't know if you can see this section, but I want you to see it. You find the hole and they do like that. And then you put this on. and then we're going to wait for it to whistle. After 8 minutes, it starts to whistle. Turn the flame gauge on low for 10 minutes. Turn the gauge on low as it starts to whistle. Now after 8 minutes, I turn it off. Don't ever take this up. That's going to let the flavor come out. Just wait until this goes down. So we're going to wait for however long it takes for this to cool. I'm going to time it for you. Okay, it took 20 minutes to cool. So, see? And this is down. So we can remove it. So you are seeing this for the first time as me. Wow, it smells nice. And that's how it looks. You don't want this to cook too much. See, it's almost cooked but not cooked entirely. So now the peas. We're going to add the peas. Then cover it back up. And send it going again. We'll let this pressure for 15 minutes. After you add the peas, you just go and check to see how tender the meat is. Because maybe you have to take out a few pieces. See this? I don't want it to break up too much, so I'm going to take this out. I remove these, the one without the bones, and leave the bone inside. After 8 minutes, it starts to whistle. Turn the stove on low. Now while we wait, we're going to make some spinners, some small little dumplings. So 1 cup of flour, wheat flour I'm using. You can use any flour, and a pinch of salt. Add at a time 1/4 cup of water. Like this. We call these spinners. Another way to cool this is to put the pot in some water and run it. So now it's ready. It's took 20 minutes to cool. I run this on the fire. So we turn this. Peas is tender. Peas is tender. So you just turn it back on high, put it on high, then you add the carrots, add the dumplings, and then add back the beef. Add half of an onion, just a little, half, just to enhance the taste. This is natural cooking. Add the tomato, and put to boil. We're going to add the ketchup and the butter last. So just cover it slightly like that. When it comes to a boil, after 2 minutes, put the gauge on 6. And just cover this. Cover it slightly. After boil, put the stove on 2. I have a cup of water handy, just in case it starts to get really thick. You can pour some water over it. But put the stove on 2 and cover it. Put the stove on 1 and cover it. After it comes to a boil, put the stove on low, between low and half, and just cover it. Between low and half, and cover it. Okay, for 20 minutes on low, I made it just stew. For 20 minutes on low, I made it stew. So in about 5 more minutes, I'm gonna turn the stove up, add the ketchup and the butter. Now, after 30 minutes on low, after we remove the cover and add the dumplings and the carrot, it took us 30 minutes to get to this stage. So now we're gonna turn the stove up, put it on 6. Let's see. So now we're gonna add the butter. And quarter cup of ketchup. Quarter cup of ketchup. And we're gonna let this boil for about 2 minutes. Until the butter dilute, and then turn it off. Note, it will get thicker as it cools. So this is stew peas. Once the bubbles start to hit you, start to splash up, that means it's thick enough. This is good. We're gonna turn it off. So that's stew peas. Stew peas. That's stew peas. Stew peas. That's stew peas and brown rice. That's stew peas and brown rice. Stew peas and brown rice. Stew peas and brown rice.